Welcome back. Now with your final design complete, carving and finishing of the bowl is going to be great fun. You now have the rim, the handles, the feet, and other embellishments all marked in the rough bowl. Now we finally begin to see the creation emerge into its intended form. We start finish carving on the interior by using our most aggressive carving head to remove the large amount of material required to achieve the profile of the sides and the depth of the bowl that feels right. Here I'm using the Arbortech Pro Carver. At this first stage, we do not carve our carving lines as the aggressive head can eat wood so fast that serious errors can happen with minor incorrect movements. Your motions will be dictated by your ability to control the tool, so you'll be dragging the tool up, digging down, and shaving as appropriate for your physical stance as you work your way around the bowl. Next, I switched to using the burr head for doing a first stage cleanup of the gouge marks left by the aggressive carving head on the interior surfaces. Here I'm using Kutzall's medium rounded head, which offers a slower rate of wood removal and thus offers me the ability to carve closer to the carving line, but still not actually to it. Much greater control is possible with the burr as it will fight against your hands less, and the slightly rounded surface of the front of the carving head offers the opportunity to do some smoothing. I'm done with this tool when I feel like I've made the interior surfaces more uniform. Finally, the interior is attacked by a drill-mounted sanding head with 80 grit sandpaper. At this stage, I'm eliminating the deep scratches of the burr head grinding tool and taking out the unevenness of the walls with the goal of creating a uniform surface. Note that I'm using a close quarter drill. The typical pistol grip drill needs way too much horizontal space for bowls, and this drill's lower speed is important for control. Finally, I'm now carving to the carving line with the 80 grit sanding head. It will still remove a considerable amount of material, but control is better and mistakes are much less likely to lead to a redesign. Moving to the outside of the bowl, I start without flipping the bowl over because I want to simultaneously see the inside and the outside surfaces so I can match the exterior to the newly defined interior. I take this process down towards the feet as far as I'm comfortable, given my inability to see where I've marked the width of the feet and to avoid hitting my bench top with a carver. While not shown here, after this I will flip the bowl over, so I can now simultaneously see my newly trimmed exterior near the rim and my marked feet and bottom. That allows me to confidently shape the sides and the ends. This is quick and straightforward because I generally only use the aggressive carving head for the exterior at this stage, except for some carving zones that are too small for the big sander. The primary carving tool I use for the outside of the bowl is a large sander with a 6x48 inch belt. Discovering the ability to use the floor sander with an 80 grit sanding surface as a shaping tool was wonderful. It offers a great balance of moderate to significant rates of wood removal, but with excellent control that can be observed close up. I can thin the bowl as I watch and feel the design evolve, adapting my design as I carve to get the feeling of the exterior shape and the thickness of the walls just right. The 6-inch wide belt on the sander is excellent. First, it's great for the broad expanse of the bowl's exterior, taking advantage of the wide belt to take off material uniformly. Creating a curving surface moving against the belt avoids unwanted flat spots, and the flat surface of the sander is great for straight edge bowls. I use the straight edge of the drum for making transitions to handles and the flat surfaces on parts of the handles on the sides. Further, the drum end is great for creating an out-curving rim by letting it eat into the sides below the rim, and then finish carving with the sander to link the feet to the lower part of the newly dug curve. Variously using the drum at the end of the sander and the flat surface at the top, I can methodically create both curved and straight external surfaces. This process of shaping with the sander is true sculpting, guided more as a feeling than as an engineering formula. During both rough and final carving, it's important to monitor my evolving wall and floor thicknesses with more accuracy than my fingers can discern. For wall thickness, I use this caliper with long arms and a very wide middle to reach deep into the bowl and accurately measure the side walls. Moving it across the wall at all elevations can reveal areas of anomalous thickness, including identifying zones that my carving may have been too aggressive. These anomalous areas then need to be marked for some follow-up carving or sanding. The bowl's depth is easily monitored with a ruler. I merely measure the depth of the carved interior by standing the ruler in the bowl and sighting across the bowl's top to see the measurement for that depth. Done similarly for the feet, I then subtract the carved depths from the bowl's height to get the remaining thickness for the floor. Next, I do a simple visual inspection for uniformity. By looking down the bowl's sidewall, inside and out, it's possible to identify areas that are different. This will allow you to spot parts of the bowl that may need attention. It's now time to begin finish sanding the bowl. I usually start with the drill-mounted sanding head, as it is more aggressive in smoothing the larger lumps and depressions if used in sweeping motions, and I can easily concentrate on specific high points. My guide is primarily my fingers, which can be impressively accurate in finding discrepancies in the surfaces. I will typically use the 80 grit sandpaper followed by 120 grit sandpaper to get the surfaces to the shape and the feeling I seek. I consider this actually to be a final carving step, as I am now removing low and high points and making sure that transitions from the bottom across the sides into the rim and handles are the same on different sides of the bowl. At this point, I'll switch to the random orbital sander, which has a wider zone of contact, meaning it does a good job of smoothing out surface anomalies. With the random orbital sander, I start with 120 grit sandpaper and end with the 220 grit sandpaper. At that point, I stop. Now we're ready for quality control, then final sanding, and then oiling. Let's go there next.